Rochester has been experiencing a renaissance. Since 2014, the city has seen dramatic increases in affordable housing. Investments in job creation and new job opportunities created the lowest unemployment rate in 10 years. Citizen engagement pushed crime rates to historic lows. Programs to address the needs of children in and outside the classroom prepared a new generation of learners for future success. The city was on a course to finally realize its potential. And then the pandemic hit. Businesses closed. Workers lost their jobs. Frustrations built, and crime again began to rise. And in an already heightened environment, tragedy unfolded. What transpired on the morning of March 23rd enraged the country.
Prude was handcuffed naked and unarmed in near freezing temperatures over on Jefferson Ave in Rochester. Medical examiner determined the manner of death was homicide, noting cause of death, complications of asphyxia.
The community demanded answers and immediate action. The death of Daniel Prude pushed Rochester to the forefront of the national discussion about deadly encounters involving police and Black men and women, and more broadly, spotlighted a system that has long disfavored the poor and people of color. How did a community that touts its historic role in the fight for human rights, the home of Susan B. Anthony and Frederick Douglass, get to this point? And what would it take to solve the fundamental issues that led to this moment? Rochester has had a mixed history with race and poverty. A city named for a slave trader was the epicenter of the national movements for human rights and social justice. One of the nation's poorest cities has been home to some of the most successful companies in the world. Rochester felt the same growing pains that swept the nation, including racial uprisings, redlining, white flight, urban renewal, school integration. The list goes on. But despite a long history grappling with these issues, the city is still at the center of one of the most economically and racially segregated communities in the country. And that has real consequences. Where you live makes a huge difference in the opportunities you get and the quality of life you enjoy. It determines the value of your home and whether you own or rent. It predicts school performance, employment outcomes, and yes, negative interactions with law enforcement.
We just divested from many urban communities that really needed our precise attention.
The pandemic has made matters worse. Those with jobs before the pandemic that paid $60,000 or more a year have been more likely to get that job back. Those who made less still struggle to find work.
When we look at the service industry in particular, you'll have a higher concentration of Blacks and Hispanics in those occupations. Who's getting hurt most? As people in the service industry.
So what could be done about it? Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren is proposing the Equity and Recovery Agenda to restore Rochester's pre-pandemic renaissance and reverse historic racism and inequity.
The ERA agenda is truly about forcing the system to change and recognizing that racism and sexism plays a major part in why this community and the people that live in this community have suffered.
The agenda confronts the root of historical inequities.
Housing, police and criminal justice, jobs and education are all foundational, and therefore they all must be worked on at the same time.
The Equity and Recovery Agenda will reform criminal justice by decriminalizing emotional distress and trauma. The new Office of Crisis Intervention Services ensures mental health professionals respond to mental health and addiction-related 911 calls, allowing police officers to focus on protecting city neighborhoods. A police accountability board and an intergovernmental commission on racial and structural equity initiatives will change the way policing is done through accountability, transparency, and fairness.
The first thing that we have to do is to make sure that we see each other, whether you're a cop or a person on our streets, as a resident. We are human. And I must treat you as such. I must respect you as such. And I must show you compassion.
The African proverb says, "It takes a village to raise a child." And it's true in the academic success of students. The Equity and Recovery Agenda calls for making each Rochester Elementary a neighborhood community school, using Enrique Fermi School Number 17 as a model of success. These neighborhood schools focus on the whole child, not just the student. They nurture students with meals, after-school, dental, and mental health care. They support families in the neighborhood with job training, housing, nutritional services, and more.
I think that is a critical partnership, right? The school is often the hub or the center of the community. And so whereas working in an urban school district where there is significant needs because of the poverty and the socioeconomic disadvantage, there are basic needs where other school districts, they don't have to be concerned about that in Monroe County in a very concentrated way. We do. So we're talking about those basic needs, right? In Maslow's hierarchy of needs. In this instance, through this project with the city, we're able to help address those needs.
The Equity and Recovery Agenda creates safer, more vibrant neighborhoods by establishing a Housing First Trust Fund that will promote sustainable ownership of safe, affordable homes and construct housing targeted to the needs of current city residents. A fund to assist families facing a financial crisis will be funded primarily by marijuana legalization and tax fairness. The pandemic has shown how healthcare workers are essential to our community. Unfortunately, home health aides, certified nursing assistants, and similar positions are often overlooked and ill-paid. In order to establish equity and fairness for these critically important roles, the city will join with local unions, healthcare advocates, and the Rochester Monroe Anti-Poverty Initiative, or RMAPI, to fight for state legislation that mandates a $15 minimum wage for these positions.
Right now, home health care aides are making less than those that are working in the fast food industry. They're working 2 and 3 jobs to try and make ends meet for their families. It is now 2020. The system can change.
Community gardens and small-scale urban farms will improve property values, generate income, and eliminate food deserts. Providing women and minority-owned business owners access to city contracts will help keep our city dollars in the community and help more Black and brown families find good-paying jobs, build wealth, and put their children on a path to success.
It's about opening up the door to opportunity. It's about making sure that the door is wide open so that everybody that wants to walk through has the opportunity to do so. It's what's fair, it's what's just, but most of all, it's what's right.
The agenda recognizes diversity as a city strength with a wide range of talents and perspectives that enrich the community. That is why Mayor Warren believes in providing new Americans with a voice and adequate access to the city's leadership by establishing a New Americans Advisory Council to create a direct line of communication to City Hall.
When you're intentional about opening doors that have been shut, and you open those doors for anybody that walk through, we're ready for a new era. We're ready for change.
The Equity and Recovery Agenda is a blueprint to finally reconcile the Rochester community after centuries of inequity and distrust. What will it take to make this vision a reality? What roadblocks are out there? And what is at stake if progress isn't made? In the coming months, we will explore these and other questions in depth as the State of the City video series continues right here.